rises, where champions emerge and redefine the game, where limits are tested and greatness is unleashed. This is when legends are born. Super League Basketball. A new dawn is here.
The Super League Basketball Championship. The ultimate competition and a chance to compete for superiority against the best in the land. A round-robin league format played across 23 weeks. All 9 SLB franchises will compete against each other 4 times, home and away. The team with the best record after 32 games will be crowned Super League Basketball champions, whilst the top 8 teams will all progress to the postseason playoffs.
Good afternoon and welcome into the National Basketball Performance Centre here in Manchester. It's a sunny Easter Sunday and we're in the final stretch of the regular season with just 1 week to go as the playoff race heats up in the Super League. You're joining us live on DAZN as 4th placed Manchester Basketball hosts the 7th seeded Bristol Flyers. Manchester coming into today's game off a loss to the Eagles on Thursday night, which snapped a 5-game winning streak that included a win over first-placed London Lions. The Flyers playing in their 4th game in 8 days. They had an 86-73 victory over the Caledonia Gladiators on Friday, and they've secured a playoff spot and are looking to move up the standings. Caroline Bullock here with Dwayne Morgan. We're getting ready to tip off in around 8 minutes' time. So, Dwayne, a big game for both teams. Manchester will want to bounce back after that loss on Thursday, and Bristol closing in on Newcastle and Cheshire in the standings.
Absolutely, and today will be a clash of 2 different styles of play. We know Manchester loves to play fast, loves to play money ball, if you might say. They shoot a lot of threes, they take a lot of shots in transition, and they want to be an up-tempo. They want to have an up-tempo game, whereas Bristol is more methodical. They run through their sets, they put the ball down low, so it should be an interesting game today.
Absolutely, and it's been a busy week in the SLB this week. The Flyers, having played twice already, they've split their games, a loss to London and that win against Caledonia on Friday. Manchester falling to the Eagles, and London coming out on top against Sheffield in Friday's top-of-the-table clash. At the moment, we've got the Leicester Riders and Cheshire Phoenix taking each other on. Leicester with a 1-point lead in the 4th quarter. You can catch that game live on DAZN, get your split screens going, and keep up with all the action throughout today. And after those wins this week for the London Lions, they're holding strong in that top spot, put some daylight between themselves and Sheffield. The Leicester Riders, though, closing in second. And it's still all to play for. Those seedings between 4 and 8, Dwayne, it's anybody's game.
Yes, it is. At the top, you have London and Leicester. And after about 4 to 8, we don't know where everybody's going to land. So every game is so much more important. And we spoke with Coach Andreas about that. Everybody knows that coming into the game.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, Coach Kapoulis and Manchester Basketball's Herman Manole, you caught up with them earlier to get their thoughts on today's game.
How you doing, Coach?
How you doing?
The last time you were in this gym, unfortunately, the game didn't go as you expected. What do you have to do differently today in order to get the victory?
We've got to have a better first half. We cannot put ourselves behind. They've got to push the ball in transition. They've got to go after offensive rebounds. They can shoot the basketball. We've got to be really sharp defensively, and offensively, we've got to play in our tempo. Coach,
4 games in the last 8 days. You guys play tomorrow. How challenging is it for you to keep your guys engaged, keep your players locked in at this stretch of the season?
I think it's not so much about being engaged, it's about being able to deal with fatigue. And when you have fatigue, sometimes the effort levels go down, but most importantly, it's that mental fatigue, staying sharp. I think that's got to be the important thing, trying to compete and play a 40-minute game as much as we can.
And not only are you playing a lot of games, but you're playing a lot of teams that are fighting for the same positioning within the league. How important is it for you guys to get this victory today?
I think every game is important right now. I mean, certainly qualifying for the playoffs is good, but that was not our initial goal. Like, you know, making the playoffs was a little bit granted. And I think for a lot of teams around us, that was the same goal as well. We want to try to finish as high as we can up the league table. Every game is tough. We just got to make sure, like, we take it one game at a time and see where we are at the end of it.
Good luck today, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach, coming into the last game against Newcastle, you were the hottest team in the league. You had won 9 of the last 10 games. Obviously, it wasn't the result that you wanted. How do you bounce back today against Bristol?
I mean, we gotta do the same thing, like put us in the position to win 9 games and lose only 1. I think Newcastle is a good team. We compete really well, and in the last quarter we couldn't, hit some shot, and they, find the moment to beat us. So we don't need to do nothing different, just be more consistent.
And since you took over as head coach, you're undefeated at home. What is it about playing at home that gives your team the competitive edge?
I mean, always when you play at home, you have a big impact, in all the team. But I think we're gonna win in all the course, and doesn't have to affect us. So the good thing is that people from Manchester can watch basketball games, but for us as a team, doesn't have to change nothing. In the playoff, you gotta win home and away. So, and even if you are gonna play the final, you gotta play in one course which is not gonna be your course. So I'm happy because we don't get any lose here. But if we are gonna play in one way at home and one way when we play away, I'm gonna be worried.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you.
So Bristol coming off that win against Caledonia on Friday, and someone that was key to that victory for the Flyers, Owen McCormack, coming off the bench, had 14 points and 10 rebounds, his second highest scoring game so far this season. At 6'9", playing in his first season for the Flyers, he's someone who does it on both ends of the floor for the team, isn't he, Dwayne?
Absolutely. Owen McCormack is what you call a matchup nightmare for defenses. As you mentioned, he's 6'9". He plays a small forward position, but he also can stretch the court as a stretch 4 and be a difficult cover for anybody. As you mentioned, 14 points, 10 rebounds last game. For this season, he only averages 6 points per game, but that will go up. 33.8 point percentage from the three-point line, 93% from the free throw line, and he just knows how to play the game the right way. He's always getting his teammates involved, good passes, and making the right play.
And someone else who also came off the bench on Thursday against the Eagles, Marcus Delpesh, 14 points, 7 rebounds for Manchester Basketball, but a +11 in a 9-point loss. He's going against his old team, the Flyers, today. He can score. We can see him get it done, but he doesn't need to do that to impact the game.
Absolutely. And when you play on a team as a big man, when you play on a team that shoots a lot of threes, it's important for you to score when you can. The best way for you to score is to crash the offensive glass. And nobody crashes the offensive glass on this team better than Marcus Delpesh. He averages 2.3 offensive rebounds per game and only 18 minutes per game. And the last time he played against Bristol, he had 6 rebounds in 16 minutes. So expect for him to be on the glass heavy, and expect for him to have a big impact on the game.
And we also saw him dropping a couple of threes last weekend, his first threes of his career. So he's just showing out what he can do.
Absolutely, and that kind of gets you going as a player. You're hitting threes, you're doing things that's not expected. You can really get going.
So if we take a look at the starting 5 for the Bristol Flyers, it will be Keedy Johnson, Elaine Louis, Rafael Thomas Edwards, Demond Robinson, and Kendall Lewis. So no change for the Flyers from Friday afternoon. Evan Walsh coming off the bench for Bristol. And for Manchester Basketball, again, no changes for them since Thursday. Mackay, Ashton Langford, Jonas Ure, Zach Irvin, DJ Mitchell, and Nathan Kayo. And new signing, Jonas Jure, he's been making an impact in the few games that he's played for the team. Good to see him in the starting lineup. That size, really important for Manchester.
Yes, and they'll need the size today because as Bristol comes onto the court, you can see how big the guys are. Maybe not the tallest bigs, but they're wide, they're girthy. And the guards as well are strong guards, and they like to make the game a physical game. So you'll need Big Jonas to step up today and really put his impact on the game.
So teams coming out on court as we get ready for tip. Bristol playing in pink and Manchester in black. Manchester currently in 4th place in the standings. They're looking to make a push as we get towards the end of the season. Today's game and then 2 games against Surrey. 1 on Wednesday and 1 next Saturday. So for the tip, it will be Jure and Robinson.
The sun is shining today in Manchester. It's a great day for basketball.
It certainly is. We don't get it very often.
No.
So it's a good sign. Just a reminder, we've got games coming up today at 5. The Leicester and Cheshire game currently going on at the moment, and you can catch all the action live on DAZN as you can all season long, all throughout the playoffs. The refs just confirming something with the table before we get ready to tip.
The suspense is killing me. This is going to be such a good game. Such an interesting game as well. As we mentioned, the pace of the 2 teams. Bristol, more methodical kind of team, and Manchester likes to get up and down.
And that's always, I always think, especially from a fan perspective as well, a really fun matchup when you have 2 contrasting styles like that.
Absolutely.
The ball's up and we're underway. Ball's tipped into the hands of Manchester. Mackay, Ashton, Langford finds DJ Mitchell, gets the handoff. Jure back to Ashton Langford. Round to Mitchell. Mitchell catch and shoot. Nothing but net. Gets things started. And that is what we see DJ Mitchell do all season long.
DJ Mitchell is such an effective scorer. He can score in many different ways, and he has that range as he showed in his last play.
Louis finds Robinson. He looks to answer. Banks it in.
Robinson is one of those big players that we were talking about, but he also has that range. Maybe not to the level of DJ, but
makes him a difficult player to come up against as the ball's knocked out of bounds. Stays Bristol, stays Manchester ball on the baseline.
Manchester used to coming off to that hot start, and today is no different. I'm sure that they're going to be playing very well off of that DJ Mitchell 3.
Kayo hands off to Mitchell. Mitchell behind the back to Kayo. It's going to go out of bounds.
Difficult pass, but you know the idea is there. Nathan Kayo, a guy that Manchester really wants to get rolling.
We saw Kayo a couple of games ago hit that big game winner against the London Lions. He was out for a few weeks with injury, but he's making a show every time he's out on the court as Bristol's three doesn't fall. But Nathan Kayo has been such a big part of this team all season long. Absolutely. He's been the most consistent scorer throughout the whole season. And coming off of last game, you know, we really want to see how he's going to react in this game. And you want him to be as aggressive as possible. Bristol looks at inbound. It's intercepted by Jure. Gets it over to Ashton Langford. Ashton Langford racing down the court. Has Irvin. He'll lay it in. This is Manchester basketball. They want to get rebounds, get steals, and push that pace. They're the fastest playing team in the league since Coach Mandoli has taken over, and they're really making an impact. Louis, round to Johnson. Johnson, back to Louis. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Johnson, Bristol needs to put something on here. Johnson all the way to the hole. We talked about great scorers. DJ Mitchell obviously is a great scorer, but Johnson is such an effective scorer. He's number 3 in the league at 17.5 points per game, and we saw why. Oh, rejected by Lewis. Swats it into the stands almost there. Kendall Lewis is one of the most athletic players that I've seen in a long time. He got high up in the air. Super high, and he goes for every block. So Manchester reset from the sideline. Jure. To Ashton Langford. Into Jure to the basket, tries to keep the ball alive, and a foul called on the floor. That's going to go against the Flyers.
Big Jonas had a little trouble reeling that ball in. Sometimes when you're a 7-footer, you want the ball high. You don't want it to catch at your knees. But that time, he did a good job of staying with it, and he drew the foul.
Ashton Langford finds Mitchell. 3 is no good. It's waved off. He'll take a step out of bounds.
You know what? It was a good look, and it still went in. Obviously, it didn't count, but as a shooter, you saw that ball go through the net.
Gives you that confidence.
It gives you the confidence.
Johnson against Irvin.
This is the matchup Johnson wants.
Lewis in the corner on the baseline. Robinson, 4 seconds, shot clock winding down. Johnson, 2 seconds. Robinson in the corner, and he'll step out of bounds.
Right back. The same exact play that just happened to DJ Mitchell. Robinson, he's not used to being at the three-point line, so he just kind of lost where he was on the court. Obviously, in those corners, it's a real short corner.
Kayo, all alone to the basket, throws it down. Had a clear lane there.
That's exactly what they want to see from Nathan Kayo. Get him going early. Let him see the ball go through the rim. Oh, that looked like an illegal screen.
Ball knocked out, but you saw there Manchester picking up on the full court, putting the pressure on defensively.
Yes, and that's going to be huge there, because as we know, Bristol Flyers, they take their time on offense. They're a methodical team. So if you want to put that pressure on them, maybe you can speed them up a little bit and have them playing out of their rhythm.
Kayo driving to the basket. Looks to pass out of it. Mitchell's there against Johnson. Kayo, 3. Bounces out.
DJ Mitchell goes back to the behind-the-back pass.
He's turning into Point Mitchell. Johnson for the Flyers. Manchester have a 2-point lead. Corner 3 short.
Look at how fast they get the ball down the court on defensive rebounds. Bristol doing a good job of getting back on defense that time.
And Ashton Langford takes it to the basket. And the quickness, the speed with which Ashton Langford plays with, that matchup between him and Keely Johnson is going to be really key.
It will be, yes, it is very risky. Obviously, we know Ashton Langford is one of the fastest players with the ball in the league. It's very hard to contain him, and you'll need a very elite defender on him.
Johnson's long too strong. Bristol get the rebound and another chance as Johnson all the way takes the contact, and he's going to go to the foul line.
That is what Keedy Johnson does. He gets to the free throw line. He's made 98 free throws this season, good for top 5, as we see there.
That's just the hustle, isn't it? The hustle that the Flyers are playing with.
He loves to get downhill. He loves to draw contact, and he's a good finisher through contact once he gets to the rim.
So foul was called on Jonas Jure, his first team foul for Manchester, and Jure will take a seat, and we'll see Marcus Delpeche check into the game for the first time. As Johnson converts the 3-point play, takes him up to 5 points personally. It's a 1-point Manchester lead.
Now Bristol is showing a little bit of full court defense, trying to make Ashton Langford work as he brings the ball up the court.
Ashton Langford off the screen from Delpeche. Into the corner. Irvin back out to Delpeche. Kayo, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Kayo, a tough shot. Won't drop, but Delpeche fighting for the rebound. We'll have a foul called. So that's on Delpeche, his first. So 2 quick team fouls there for Manchester.
But if you're Manchester, that is a good foul for Delpeche because he's fighting for the ball, and that's what he does. He comes in, he's physical, he hits the glass, and you're not mad at that foul.
Louis. Johnson. And ball's intercepted by Mitchell. Manchester racing down the floor. Kayo back to Mitchell. Ashton Langford with a deep 3, nails it.
This is Manchester basketball. You push the pace. Even if you don't have an easy layup, they are empowered to take the early three if you have it. That time it was Micaiah Ashton Langford. He was wide open from about 25 feet, and he knocks it down.
And that's his range, isn't it? Like, that is not a problem for Ashton Langford to shoot that shot.
No, it's not.
McCormack looks to answer for Bristol and does.
We talked about Owen McCormack in the early, before the game.
As Del Pesh lays it in. Bristol caught sleeping on defense there.
You can't sleep with this Manchester team. You cannot fall asleep because they are looking to push the pace.
Louis trying to get to the basket, runs into Ashton Langford, has to kick it out. Walsh can't get it to go, but Lewis cleaning up the glass and putting it in the basket.
That time Kendall Lewis is in the right place at the right time. We know he's a monster on the defensive glass.
Del Pesh is going to try a three and hits it. Marcus Del Pesh, after hitting his first threes of his career last weekend, he's just carrying on.
There's just something about Del Pesh. These past 6 games, he's been on a tear. We talked about it pregame. He's the newest, best shooter on the team.
And a foul called on the floor. We've got a couple of substitutions. Demond Robinson back in for the Flyers. We'll see Kyle Carey into the game for the first time, along with Ian DeBose for Manchester and Corey Samuels for the Flyers. And Dwayne, as a player, so Marcus Del Pesh playing against his old team in the Bristol Flyers, is there a little bit more extra motivation when you go up against your old team?
There's a lot of bit more extra motivation, I would say, because, you know, whether it doesn't matter how you left the team. You left the team, and you can find something to get yourself going for.
McCormack, three is open, and he'll drop it in. And we spoke about him pregame, Dwayne, but McCormack, such a threat from behind the three-point line.
He really is. In the last 2 games, he's shooting 40% from the three-point line. We mentioned it before. He stretches the court for them.
Walsh for the Flyers. Over to McCormack. Hands off to Samuels. McCormack with the advantage against Carey. Working his way inside. Has to pass it out. Robinson will try another three. That one doesn't go.
That time McCormack definitely had the mismatch on Carey. As we see another three by Ashton Langford. As we mentioned before, that's his range. That is a mismatch. As we mentioned in the pregame, McCormack is a walking mismatch. So he's going to be looking to be staying aggressive down low.
He finds Robinson for the short jumper. Ian DeBose with another rebound for Manchester. Ashton Langford, he had space, kicks it to the corner. And a foul called, but look, that looked like an open look for Ashton Langford.
It was. He had just missed the previous 2. So he was a little gun shy, but that is a shot that we know he can take and we know he can make.
Cody John into the game for Manchester basketball, and Pasquale Landolfi in for the Flyers.
Cody John, a player that's really come to life under the regime of Herman Mandole. I think he benefits the most from the coaching change on this Manchester team.
He's been a real spark off the bench as he gets things going, as we said.
Because he can do that, and he's empowered to do that under Coach Mandole. Cody John was the first player on the court today, getting up his shots, getting up his threes, because he knew it was going to be a big game.
Bristol looking for an answer here. Manchester up 4. Landolfi to Robinson inside. Tough move.
That time Robinson using that strength that we mentioned in the pregame.
Mitchell all the way, rolls off the rim.
Yeah, they touched the backboard on that. That should count.
Basket count, so basket interference. So Manchester still up 4.
Something you're going to hear us say a lot today is that this is Manchester basketball. This is how they play. Even if you score, even if you make a good play on one end, you got to run back on defense because that ball's coming.
It's fast and furious, isn't it?
Fast and furious. Absolutely.
Approaching the final minute of the first quarter. Samuels. McCormack inside all alone.
McCormack is getting it going today. He's feeling it. 2 threes. He came out hot, and he's staying hot.
Leading all scorers with 8 points personal so far here in the first. DeBose has to pass out. John's there. John hanging in the air, gets that to drop.
Cody John, the last time he played against Bristol, he was 17 points and 4 rebounds. I think he knows that they can't guard him, and he's playing like that today.
Walsh. Robinson inside. And that's too easy for DeMond Robinson.
As we mentioned before, DeMond Robinson is a strong, strong big, and he's bouncy too. So he will get on that rim. You have to be aware of where he is at all times.
4-second difference between the shot and game clock. DeBose for Manchester, 6 seconds. DeBose finds a lane, off the glass and in, count that, and the foul, and Ian DeBose going to go to the line for a chance at a 3-point play.
Ian DeBose, the former Wake Forest guard. We know he likes to put his head down and get to that rim, and he's strong. He's got those wide shoulders. He finishes with contact here on this play. That's exactly how you want to close out the quarter if you're Manchester.
So DeBose shooting at 70.5% from the foul line this season. Gets it. Gives Manchester a 5-point lead. 4 seconds for the Flyers. 2 seconds. Walsh has it. Walsh is going to have to scoop something up. Won't go. And at the end of the first, it's a 27-22 lead for Manchester basketball over the Bristol Flyers. You said it earlier, Dwayne, they are a team that like to play fast. They're going to get out, they're going to run, and it seems like so far Manchester have been able to do what they want.
Absolutely, and so far Bristol has been able to keep up, but this is the pace that Manchester likes to play. Bristol doesn't love this pace. Now, can they do it for a quarter here, a quarter there? Sure, but the way that the game is going currently, this 100% benefits the Manchester basketball club.
And we can see they're looking at the stats. Manchester shooting 50% from 3, 4 of 8 to Bristol's 33%, 3 of 9. And Manchester shooting just under 70% from the field, 11 of 16 to Bristol's 53. Manchester edging the assist column there, 9 to 8, but that just shows that they're moving the ball around. Obviously, it helps when you're scoring at a high percentage like that.
Yeah, I mean, once the only number on here that matters is 68% from the field. I mean, how can you compete with that if you're a Bristol team? They have to try to put their mark on the game. They have to try to impact Manchester physically, but if they don't do it, this game can get out of their hands very fast.
And if you're Bristol and you're shooting 52% from the field, you're thinking, hey, we're in a pretty good spot, but against 69%, that's a difficult.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So leading the way, it's been Owen McCormack for the Bristol Flyers, 8 points for him. And for Manchester basketball, leading the way, Cody John off the bench with 5 points, and Mackay Ashton Langford with 5 points as well. Ashton Langford also dishing out 4 assists already in the first quarter. And we've seen him all season long. Mackay Ashton Langford will do everything he needs to do on the court. He's got such a great vision as to where his teammates are. If they need him to score, he'll score. If they need him to pass, he'll pass. He can just do everything.
Absolutely, and you know, the way that they play, it's so easy for him because his teammates understand that he wants them to be great. He wants them to touch the ball. Everybody gets their opportunities, and they're helping him out with the assists because they're just running their lanes, making the game easier for him. He's very good at reading the game, and this is a perfect start for Manchester.
So back underway for the second quarter. It will be Flyers ball. Walsh has it. Evan Walsh playing for the Manchester Giants here in this building last season. McCormack has too much space for 3. That won't drop, but Walsh will try. He can't get it to go, but that is too much space to give McCormack outside the 3-point line.
Way too much space. We just saw him hit two big threes as soon as he came in the game last quarter. We know, as we said before, he only averages 6 points. So if you look at the scouting report, maybe it says, you know, you can kind of leave him open, but the way that the game is going now, yes, you have to close out to him. Everybody needs to know where he is on the court exactly and make sure we're closing out.
Irvin hands off to DeBose. DeBose finds Kaio. Kayo looks to go all the way.
Nathan Kayo, as we said, he's the guy that Manchester has to get going. Last game, he had 0 points. The first time for this season, and I'm sure the first time in his career that he scored 0 points in a game.
Ball's knocked loose. McCormack, oh, great fake, and puts it in. And that was a bit of a frantic possession. We saw Manchester picking up full court with the pressure, but Bristol able to break it.
Able to break it, and on that play, McCormack was in the right place at the right time. As you mentioned, the beautiful fake for the easy layup.
DeBose out to Kayo. Thought about the shot. Irvin, he'll try for three. And gets the friendly roll.
Soft touch. Zach Irvin has a very soft touch when he plays. It doesn't matter if he's out behind the three-point line or if he's in the paint. He has a very good feel for the game. That time he was wide open and he knocked it down.
Walsh against Ifeje, launches for three, nets it. Oh, that's a long two, just inside the line.
Ooh, that would not be a good shot in Manchester. No long twos. Get behind the line and get a three. Two is better than three.
Been into the basket. Ifeje grabs the rebound, tries to put it in, and a second basket interference we've got.
All right, second in this first half. But if you're Ifeje, that's exactly what you want. He's doing what he's does best. He hits the glass, he's playing physical, and he's finishing through contact. That time, an unorthodox finish, but still a finish.
Pulling the...
right, they pulled in that, yep.
So basket is good for Manchester. I feel like we can go games without ever seeing that, and we've had two in the first half.
Right.
So Manchester stretched the lead out here to 8 points in the first half, putting on the pressure full court. Lewis has it.
As we mentioned, if this game continues at this pace, it will get away from Bristol.
Walsh double teamed, bullet pass into Robinson, and a foul on the floor. I think DeBose just wasn't able to land.
A lot of contact down there, but when you have a big guy like Damon Robinson, that's what you have to do. You have to be physical down there as well. That time, a little bit too much physicality. As we see, DeBose jumping on his back, but...
Great positioning there from Robinson as well.
Great positioning, and that's what he does. He knows how to play when he's down there. The big man is, being a good big man is a lost art these days. And when you see one that knows exactly how to position his body, it's like beautiful to see.
So Flyers ball from the end line. Louis will inbound. Looks to get it in. Robinson round to Johnson. Johnson. Back to Johnson, 4 seconds, dancing around the outside, pulls the trigger and hits.
Oh, Kenny Johnson, as we mentioned, he loves to get to the rim and loves to get to the free throw line, but that time he's showed off the range. He can also get it done behind the line.
As DeBose breaks free. And Ian DeBose up to 5 points.
Ian DeBose has that pep in his step today. I think it's going to be a big game for him.
Johnson hits from behind the arc.
Another one. Johnson is a guy that Manchester has to try to contain. You can't let him get too much success early because he can have a big game.
John against Louis. AJ for three, that's short. Louis with the rebound. Lewis runs into DeBose, has to pass it out. Louis finds a way, and
another one.
Basket interference again. The third one in the first half. I mean, I think it shows that both teams are just playing above the rim, aren't they? They're playing high. They're jumping up. So that basket is good for the Flyers and brings them back to within 2 after Manchester went up 8 just less than a couple of minutes ago.
Yep. Bristol Flyers they're definitely firing on all cylinders at the moment. Manchester has the head of the snake, Mekhi Ashton-Langford, back in the game. Hopefully he'll be able to control things.
This ball's knocked out, stays Manchester ball, but Kendall Lewis getting into position to knock the ball out, forces Manchester to reset. We'll see Jonas Jure back in for Manchester basketball.
Yes, as we mentioned before, big Jonas has to impact the game with his size. box out the big man and Damon Robinson and just muck it up a bit.
Ball tips away. Ekwe has it for the Flyers. Going to have to wait for his team to catch up to him. Louis. Johnson. Behind the three-point line. Backs it down. Nearly loses it. Keeps the ball alive. It's intercepted by Ashton Langford.
That time, Ashton Langford doing what he does best. He's tied for first in the league in steals.
Kayo, his three's too strong. Ekwe going to the basket, reverse won't go. Lewis is there for the rebound. Fighting underneath the basket to try and get it back in. But he's going to go to the foul line.
That time, Bristol doing what Manchester usually does is they push in that pace, getting to the rim, and Bristol having a lot of second chance opportunities. And that's something that Manchester has to really key in on, because you can't give this team too many opportunities because they will be able to make you pay.
Absolutely. 4 offensive rebounds and 4 second chance points for Bristol so far, as Lewis hits the first free throw. Playing in his first season for the Flyers. He graduated Illinois State after 3 years last summer. Averaging 6.9 rebounds a game, which is good for 7th. He goes 2 of 2 from the line and ties the game at 36.
Kendall Lewis is in his rookie contract. As you mentioned before, this is his first pro year, and he's looking to have a really good career ahead of him.
Ashton Langford for 3. No good.
So we're seeing a lot of one and done from Manchester, and we're seeing a lot of second chance opportunities from Bristol.
Ashton Langford knocks the ball out of bounds, so stays with the Flyers.
So now it's interesting to see who Manchester matches up Kenny Johnson with, because like we said before, we can't have him getting going. Now Kyle Carey has the assignment.
Johnson breaks free, hands up. Oh, a great pass to the cutting Lewis. And that will put the Flyers up 2.
Yep, Lewis is one of those players that's always in the right place at the right time.
And McCormack called for the foul on the floor. That'll be his second team foul for the Flyers.
Kyle Carey there drawing the foul, and he's one of those players that he can have a big impact on the game with his scoring. Because
Absolutely.
He can shoot the 3, he can get to the rim. He doesn't have the biggest size, however, he makes up for it with skill.
And we saw him hit a couple of threes in that last game against Newcastle. He's a really strong defender as well. And interesting, that matchup against Keedy Johnson, so we'll see how Carey fares with that assignment. Jure.
Take your time, big fella. Take your time.
No good. Ekwe for the Flyers. Louis has to pass out. Lewis, ball's knocked out of bounds, but last touch for the Flyers, so Manchester ball.
The game's getting a little bit sloppy right now. Manchester needs to run a good set and get a good shot just to get their hands back on this game, because you don't want this game to get too sloppy, going back and forth, and you're not getting the looks that you want to get out of your offense.
It's been a 16-9 run for the Flyers so far this quarter, after Manchester were up 27-22 at the end of the first. Carey in the corner, drains it, and that's exactly what Kyle Carey does when he comes out on court.
Right, we just talked about it. This is the guy that he can be a potential X factor for the team, because like we said, he can come in and make shots. Everybody wants to have a shot maker on their team, and that's why, because that's not a drawn up play, but he's going to get his opportunity and he's going to knock it down when there's a chance.
And he's been so dangerous in that corner as well. He finds that spot in the corner on both sides, and he'll make you pay.
Yeah, I mean, the corner 3 is like the most important shot in basketball at the moment, because, you know, there's a lot of opportunities for kickouts, driving kicks, and that's exactly what Manchester likes to do. And that time, Kyle Carey capitalizes perfectly.
Oh, pass inside to Robinson. Robinson's doubled, has to pass back out of it. Walsh looks to answer, can't get it to go. It's a really good ball movement there from the Flyers.
Really good ball movement. That ball is getting passed around.
Jure inside, throws it down, takes the contact.
Tell us how you really feel, big fella. Throw it down with the contact. Wow, that's the intensity that you love to see from Big Jonas.
That's got the bench fired up.
Whoa.
Zurich playing above the rim.
Yes, that's what you call playing angry. When you have a big man that plays angry, it changes everything in basketball.
So a timeout called. Manchester up by 3 here. And that foul called, that'll be on Robinson, but teams talking things over at the moment. But how much is that going to pump up Manchester, that play?
Oh my goodness, that's a play that is going to fuel you for the rest of the quarter, especially when it's a guy like Big J who's not used to giving the most emotions. So you have a little emotion from a Big J. Yeah, that's a game changer. Whoa.
And the pass there as well from DeVos inside. Oh,
it's timing. It's timing. And I was lucky enough to spend some time this week with the Manchester team, and I was watching some of their practices. That's a play, that's a pass that they've been practicing a lot. When the other team ices the ball screen on the side, you want to back it out, take your time, big man you roll, and find that relationship between the guard and the big. They've done that the past 3 days. And so it's really good to see it manifest itself within the actual game, because that's what they work on.
And that's the thing, isn't it? All the work behind the scenes that people don't see, those passes, that connection that players have. Like you said earlier in the game, if you're a big like Jonas, you want the ball higher up. So
you want it higher
learning
up.
that kind of...
Exactly. Yeah, you need to find a relationship. Every relationship between a guard and a big is going to be unique. How does Big J like to catch it in order to have a play like this? And so they're really finding their way, this Manchester team. And it's fun to watch.
It's definitely fun to watch. So Jure at the line, chance for a 3 points, and he gets it. 4-point Manchester lead. 4 minutes to play.
Full court pressure on Keedy Johnson. Kyle Carey doing a great job. You want to be physical with a guy like Keedy. Make him feel your body the whole way through while he's bringing the ball up the court.
Louis Robinson against Jure. And a travel call and a great defensive stance there from Jure.
Yes, as we mentioned, those are two big bodies going at it. Two Goliaths bumping. And that time, Big J stands his ground, and he's able to throw Robinson off balance a little bit. And he uses that big size to his advantage. Big J is having a really positive game today.
Ashton Langford. Carey back to Ashton Langford. Going against Johnson. Ball's loose and picked up by Lewis.
That is an uncharacteristic play. You're not going to see that too many times from Ashton Langford. He's usually short-handed.
Johnson step back for the long 2. Robinson tips it to himself, so an offensive board for the Flyers.
Another second chance opportunity. Manchester cannot afford to have too many of those in this game today.
Walsh's double pressure comes. Robinson has to put something up with the clock winding down.
Pushes the pace, Manchester basketball.
And he's fouled on the shot. Gonna go to the foul line.
So on the previous play, something that doesn't show up in the box score is Big J was working as hard as he can on the hedge of the screen and making it hard for the guard to pass out, which then in turn turned into a bad shot, which then in turn turns into a transition opportunity for Manchester. So Big J is doing a great job. He's getting a well-deserved break here, but he's working very hard on the defensive end as well.
And it's so important to have players that make those plays that don't show up on the stat sheet, isn't it? That just work so hard off the ball.
100%, 100%. Kyle Carey is going to make his 2 free throws, and he's going to get the 2 points. I thought I jinxed him for a second.
You were holding your breath.
I know. But he'll get the 2 points. But is because of the defensive play by Big J on the previous possession.
Sets it up for him. So DJ Mitchell and Marcus Delpeche back into the game, and as you said it, Dwayne, 2 of 2 from the line for Kyle Carey.
The reverse announcer is jinx.
McCormack back in for the Flyers as Robinson, after that second foul, goes to the bench. McCormack, he'll go to the line. So teams matching each other blow for blow here.
Absolutely, blow for blow. Bristol is doing a good job with their pace and staying aggressive. And McCormack, as we said in the pregame, he only averages 6 points, but he's a guy that can also be an X factor for his team because he can get it going.
Rafael Thomas Edwards checking in for the Flyers. McCormack's first is good. He's been shooting just under 93% from the line so far this season. And he's a player who talks about using his height and his size advantage to create opportunities for his teammates to kind of draw players out and give them space.
Yes, yes, and he's willing to make the pass too. Because when he drives, he doesn't just look for himself, he looks for his teammates as well.
4-point Manchester lead. Ashton Langford, handoff to Del Pesh. Doesn't drop. Del Pesh gets the rebound though, working hard inside and rewarding with 2.
Del Pesh against his former team, as we said, he has the motivation. He's working hard on the glass. He does that anyway. As we mentioned, 2.6 offensive rebounds per game. That time he gets an offensive rebound on his own miss and puts it up.
Louis. Thomas Edwards in the corner, sinks a 3.
Thomas Edwards, he can hit those threes. He shoots at a very high percentage from the three-point line.
Ashton Langford to both. Long 3, too strong. McCormack with the rebound. Bristol with a chance to tie the game on this possession. Johnson will set things up. Can he tie it? It's off the rim. Rebounds chased down back into the hands of Johnson. Thomas Edwards sets his feet, but Ashton Langford is there.
Great hustle. Great hustle by Ashton Langford. Ball Bristol? Yes, ball Bristol.
And Nathan Kayo back in for Manchester alongside Cody John. So Bristol ball from the sideline, 9 seconds on the shot clock.
You know who's shooting this ball. Keedy Johnson. Oh, nope.
Thomas Edwards, 3's up. Not that time, but another offensive board for the Flyers. Walsh alone outside the 3-point line, ties the game at 46.
That's the danger when you have those offensive rebounds and second chance points. It's hard to know who's guarding who closes out to him. And that time, Bristol benefits from a scramble situation.
Ashton Langford puts it in for Manchester, and Ashton Langford's hang time, it's one of the best we've seen in this league this season.
It really is. He jumps. Usually you don't want players to jump to make a pass, but with that hang time, you don't mind it if he jumps to make a pass because he stays in the air.
McCormack drives inside. Mitchell with the steal, has John up ahead, passes back to Del Pesh, and is that an offensive foul? An offensive foul called. So that'll be on Del Pesh, and that's Del Pesh's 3rd foul.
You hate to see that. And Walsh is still down. He took a big shot to the stomach from Del Pesh on that drive.
Standing his ground to take the charge.
Right.
But that's it's a tough fall, isn't it? It's a tough contact.
It is, because you have a 6'8", 250-pounder running full speed at you, and he's leading with his knee. So, you know, you're going to take a big hit to the gut. It'll knock the air out of you. It'll knock the wind out of you, and you'll stay down for a little bit. But there should be no serious injury here.
So Marcus Del Pesh has gone to the bench on those 3 fouls, 7 points so far for Manchester. That's a tough blow just before halftime. Those 3 fouls.
It is, because he's not going to be able to start the second half, and that is somebody that is, as we said before, he's making a big impact on the game. And now Manchester is going small because their bigs are just in foul trouble, and you know the matchup can be a little awkward for Manchester at the moment. But they're going to try their hand at going small.
And we'll see Kendall Lewis check in. Evan Walsh is on his feet, and he's just going to have a rest on the bench. So we hope he's doing okay, but looks like he's all good. And I'm sure we'll see him back out on court in the second half. Thomas Edwards in the corner. Louis against Ashton Langford. Louis, no good. John has the rebound. 10 seconds for Manchester. 8 seconds. John holding for the shot. 4 seconds. Spins. Finds a way to the basket. And not going to go.
A little too close for comfort there.
At the end of the first half, a slim lead for Manchester basketball. 48-46 over the Bristol Flyers. Manchester, their biggest lead of the game was 8. The Bristol Flyers able to come back, though. They've been chipping into that lead, tied it. Manchester just having gone ahead just before half-time, but Bristol certainly going to be pleased with that second quarter.
For sure, and Bristol is not going anywhere. They're making their shots. They're getting second chance opportunities, like we said, and on the scramble situations after the second chance opportunities, Manchester is getting confused. So they're getting great looks after they get the offensive rebounds. They're not going away anywhere.
And just looking at the stats there, 7 made threes for the Bristol Flyers, shooting 39%. Manchester hitting 6, but a real swing three-point-wise for Bristol, so that's what's helped them in the second.
Absolutely, and if you're a fan of basketball, this is a great game because both teams are they're shooting very, very efficiently from the three-point line, 43% and 39% from Manchester and Bristol, respectively. There's a lot of buckets in this game, but I'm going to come back to the point that I made in the beginning. This pace, it prefers Manchester. You know, Manchester prefers to play at this pace.
Yeah.
And this is not familiar territory for Bristol. So if we continue with the pace, I think that Manchester is going to eventually put their imprint on the game and can possibly pull away.
Certainly something that we've mentioned in the first half, so that rebounding, the offensive rebounding, those second chance points. So Manchester just 4 offensive rebounds, 4 second chance points, but 8 offensive rebounds, leading to 7 second chance points for the Flyers.
Yeah, and when you have a guy like Del Pesh that gets his 3rd personal foul, he's not going to be able to play the same minutes in the second half. So those second chance opportunities might not be there for Manchester because he leads the team in offensive rebounds per game. So it's a big, big deal that Del Pesh picked up his 3rd at the end of that second quarter. But we'll see how Manchester fares without their leading rebounder.
And we've just seen him there, but Cody John, that spark, bringing that energy off the bench. He's got 5 points, but they've been 5 big points, haven't they?
Yes, they absolutely have. 5 big points. And then what you didn't see before was in Bristol's last offensive possession, Cody John is the one that came down with the big defensive rebound. So he's just super engaged in the game. He's making game-winning plays, and you know, I can see him having a huge second half.
And leading the way for the Bristol Flyers, Keedy Johnson on 11 points, 4 assists and 2 rebounds, but Owen McCormack off the bench, 12 points and 2 rebounds. So we were expecting a big game from him, weren't we?
Yes, we were. We said it last time. 14 and 10 in the last game. He only averages 6 points, but he's the kind of player that a coach is going to start to trust him a little bit more because he's a young player. And when a young player comes to a team, you know, he has to earn everything that he gets. And I think now is the moment for him that he's earning a lot of trust from the coach. He's playing more minutes, and that is going to translate into points because he's going to have more opportunities to score.
So the second half coming up. Stay tuned to the DAZN because you don't want to miss a second of the action. But before that, you can check out some of the best action from the last few weeks in the Super League.
A new dawn rises, where champions emerge and redefine the game, where limits are tested and greatness is unleashed. This is when legends are born. Super League basketball. A new dawn is here.
Basketball is the second most played sport by young people in the UK. And this is a great opportunity for us to engage the younger generation in being more sustainable, recycling more, and ultimately reducing waste and protecting the environment.
Away in the trash can and throwing this away in the trash can, you're doing it in the right place. You're composting, you're recycling, you're reducing, reusing. It's just super important to learn that from a young age because you carry that into your adult life.
I majored in marine science and I minored in sustainability. So it's actually really exciting to see us partner with a company who is really invested in sustainability.
I think it's fantastic. FIFA is such a quality name in the waste and sustainability sector. We're a quality name in our sector. They're very much about community. We're very much about community. So I think it's going to be a great partnership.
Lewis to Robinson under the basket, and Robinson rocking the rim.
Sandy in the lane. Shot doesn't go. Begovic saves it. Holloway got it. That's another time he's done that at the shot clock. Holloway drives to the hoop, rejected by Thompson. Just get it out of here.
Wow, great help defense there from the big man.
Round the screen for Mitchell, lobs it up, and Del Pesh at the rim. Marcus Del Pesh getting the crowd on their feet.
And it's blocked again by Dane Medelican for his 4th of the night.
Well, Dane Medelican's just waiting for those guys down there. You know, if you're going to keep trying to bully yourself down there, he's just going to wait to throw it away.
Charles Thompson to the basket, dunks it home off the assist from Zach Jackson. What a finish.
And what a pass there by Zach Jackson. Just seeing the opening. Thompson all the way to the basket for the easy slam.
Raiders lead by 6. Fine to Barnes, what a dish from Fagbenley.
And that's more like it. The Gladiators, last 2 possessions, just moving the ball a little bit better.
And there's a great pass, and no mistake this time for Dane Medelican as he rocks the rim.
Shot clock running down. Needs to say inside to Shelton with the throwdown. Felt like a broken play, but there was Duke Shelton.
Wow, Duke Shelton slams it home.
Flyers are getting a chance to go into this. Louis hands it off. Oh, and Lewis, the one-handed slam.
Statue of Liberty dunk from Lewis right there.
Tahari finds the line, it's blocked by Begovic.
Wow, good timing.
And at the other end, Begovic with the finish.
Outstanding work from the big fella, from defense to offense, running the floor. Wonderful job from him.
Lewis goes up against Fraser Malcolm as Spearman comes across.
He goes with that big volleyball spike there, and Spearman was just licking his lips, waiting for this one.
Kayo Attacking James, flips it down to Del Pesh, who hammers it home.
Hadzibegovic calling for it, collects. Too strong, gets his own rebound, blocked by Adelican. Huge rejection from Dame Adelican, and Gooden at the other end. What a start from Surrey.
I tell you what a start. Humongous block denied at the ring by Adelican. Wow.
Ray. From the foul line is short, gets his own rebound. And a bit of English and gets it to go.
Wow. Oh, whirling dervish there. Take me to the circus, John.
Lanutis for three. Back iron, long rebound. Jackson pumps it forward to Shelton, who will reverse jam it.
Put a little bit of extra sauce on that one.
Stolen away, runs it back. Behind the back to Wright, who jams it in.
What a great decision from Hunter. Larry Austin Jr. chasing him down, goes behind the back, and those are good minutes now.
Needs a foul, need a foul. Oh, it's a steal instead, even better. And what a monster jam! What a monster jam from Rees. It's not quite done yet. It's got to Groves. Oh, he thought he was going to shoot it. He didn't. McGill does shoot it. McGill. Oh, what a shot from Ricky McGill. This is an unbelievable game. Ricky McGill ties the scores at 87. Everyone on their feet. Ashton Langford still has it. Kayo goes to the basket, puts it up, puts it in with 1.4 remaining. Huge finish.
Oh, Nicholson is right in his face. He gets slapped in the face. Man, he's had an outstanding game.
Where champions emerge and redefine the game, where limits are tested and greatness is unleashed. This is when legends are born. Super League Basketball. A new dawn is here.
Welcome back into the National Basketball Performance Centre here in Manchester as we get ready for the third quarter between Manchester Basketball and Bristol Flyers. Manchester Basketball with a 2-point lead, 48-46. And Dwayne, we can see him there, Owen McCormack, but how big has he been for the Flyers in the first half?
Yeah, he's been huge. In only 11 minutes, he's got 12 points. He's shooting 4 or 5 from the field. We talked about him getting in and making his first 2 threes of the game. There's the first one that he made, and we talked about his impact. He's just been such a bright spot for this Bristol Flyers team.
And he's coming off the bench for the Flyers today, already hit 2 3-pointers. We've seen Manchester sometimes leaving space behind that 3-point line for the Flyers to take advantage of. They're up to 7 made threes already.
Yeah, that's something that Manchester is really going to have to key in on in the second half, because if they keep getting great looks, Bristol they're in rhythm right now. So they're going to continue to knock down the threes if they have good looks at it.
So teams back out on court for the third quarter. Manchester with that 2-point lead, and it will be Manchester ball to start things off. So Manchester coming off a loss to the Eagles on Thursday night. They're looking to bounce back, and the Flyers looking to make it 2 from 2. As Irvin finds DJ Mitchell.
He's the guy that Manchester really wants to get going in the second half. Unfortunate there. Got a little bit loose with the ball, and Keedy Johnson, he's also has fast hands, and he's averaging 1.4 steals per game. So you got to be careful whenever he's around, because he really will get in you and use those fast hands.
We had a great angle there. You could see the pressure that he was putting on Mitchell to try and stop the ball. So the Flyers have possession, a chance to tie or take the lead. Louis. Lewis, back to Louis. Pass inside to Robinson. Robinson will lay it in.
We talked about big man positioning. Robinson does a great job. He sealed off Big J, which is not easy, and there was a great entry pass over the top for the high-low.
Tayo triple teamed out to Irvin in the corner. His three rolls off.
There, Manchester gets a great look. Zach Irvin in the corner. That's exactly what you want. Just unfortunately, it didn't go down.
Louis weaving his way to the basket. Nice finish.
Louis is one of those big, strong guards that we talked about Bristol having a lot of, and now you see him putting that pressure back on Mackay. Louis wants to get downhill. Oh.
And a foul called off the ball.
Yeah, Big J caught an elbow there.
Basket's waved off.
Louis just got a little bit too loose with his hands, and he fended off Big J, and I think he elbowed him in the jaw.
So it's just determining what happens on the floor. So no basket. Basket's waved off. Foul on the floor. It will be Manchester ball, and Louis picks up his second foul.
So, but we talked about Louis and him using his strength against a guy like Mackay. He wants to slow him down. He wants to wear down on him physically.
Johnson for the Flyers. Thomas Edwards. Hand off to Louis. Louis. Out to Robinson. Johnson thought about the shot, steps back. 5 seconds. Johnson. Jure comes away with the steal. Irvin keeps it alive, and a big block from Lewis. Getting high up in the air. Johnson calling for it behind the three-point line. Into Robinson, and Robinson just took his time there, able to finish, and that puts the Flyers up by 4.
That is a momentum killer. Manchester comes down and could have had the lob, but it was broken up. Fast hands by Johnson again. Mackay with a deep three.
And that's the second time we've seen Kendall Lewis get high up in the air and block a shot.
Right, we talked about it earlier.
Johnson drops it in, and it's a 6-point lead for the Flyers, their biggest lead of the game. And we'll have a timeout called. Coach Herman Mandole wants to talk things over with Manchester, and an inspired start for the Flyers here in the third.
Absolutely inspired start. And this is not the start that Coach Mandole was expecting coming into the second half. They usually are the ones that's putting it on the other teams early to start the second half. But this time, Bristol is finding easy buckets. They're running in transition. They're getting deflections, getting steals. That's usually what we see Manchester doing, as we see there, Louis taking it all the way to the rack. Coach Mandole has to talk to his team and get back on track.
And Louis there, as you said, going to the basket, but 4 assists. He had 8 on Friday against the Gladiators, and he is such a great point guard, isn't he?
He is, and he's a coach's dream, because like I said, he's not scared to do the dirty work. He'll guard you full court. He'll put his body on you, use his aggressiveness, use his physicality, and make it hard for the other team's point guard, as well as make the right pass when he's on offense.
So teams are coming back out on court. And if you're Manchester here, how do you try and stop? How do you counter this Bristol run?
Honestly, Manchester, they just have to continue to do what they are taught to do. Continue to play, don't change anything. And that's how Mandole coaches. He doesn't want to change anything because of factors that happen throughout the game. Stay the course, do your thing, and you have to box out and rebound. Don't give up any second chance opportunities, and everything will take care of itself.
And you don't want to fall into the trap of playing the way the other team want you to play. You want to keep to playing your game. As Ashton Langford's three doesn't drop, Irving grabs the rebound though, and we'll see Marcus Delpeche back into the game after picking up those 3 fouls in the first half. Mitchell to Kayo. Kayo finds space inside, and that's a great start for Manchester out of that timeout.
Absolutely. And Nathan Kayo has to stay aggressive in this second half because he is the key to this Manchester offense. If they can get him going, if they can unlock him, then things will change very quickly.
Nathan Kayo up to 6 points personal. It's a 4-point Flyers lead. Louis looking for some help. Takes it to the basket himself and will lay it in.
So Louis is really starting to get going now. He's really picking up his offense. He was already doing good on defense.
Ashton Langford with a behind-the-head pass back out to DJ Mitchell, splashing it in. Showtime play from Manchester Basketball.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the relationship between Ashton Langford and DJ Mitchell is incredible. Ashton Langford gets DJ Mitchell at least 2 open threes every game by making great passes like that one.
That's fired up the Manchester crowd. Lewis was nearly knocked away. 2 seconds. Bristol are going to have to put something up as time expires. That'll be short. And for Manchester there, a big 3 gets the crowd on their feet, and then a defensive stop at the other end.
It's perfect. And now let's see if they can push the pace to get a easy bucket.
Ashton Langford hanging in the air, drops it in. It's that hang time.
That'll do the trick. This is Manchester basketball. This is what they want to do. Play great defense, get stops, and run in transition with Micaiah Ashton Langford leading the charge.
Johnson backs it down. It's a 1-point Flyers lead. Louis lines up a 3, gets it to go.
Now that's a tough shot because Johnson threw a bad pass. It hit the floor even. He threw it at his feet, and he still was able to collect himself and shoot and make a 3-point shot.
Mitchell looks to answer for Manchester. He's fouled on the shot, so that's going to put DJ Mitchell at the line for 3 free throws. And you don't want to foul a shooter like DJ Mitchell.
You don't want to foul him. And Johnson, he's the kind of player that sometimes he's going to make these kind of mistakes because he's very overzealous on defense, but sometimes he'll get a steal and you're not mad with it. That time, a little bit too overzealous. Close the space a little bit too much. DJ Mitchell has that high release. You're not going to block his shot. I have never seen anybody block DJ Mitchell's shot as he makes his first free throw. He has that high release, and he's a legit 6'8". He's got long arms. Just contest. Don't get too close. That time Johnson did, and he got in trouble.
And that's, I mean, Johnson's just picked up his first foul there, so nothing to worry about foul-wise there. But DJ Mitchell, 2 of 2 so far from the line, so doesn't look like a good foul for Bristol when you're talking good fouls.
Yeah.
And TJ Mitchell, 3 of 3. And leads the team alongside Nathan Kayo in scoring with 14.4 points per game for Manchester this season. Walsh, back to Louis.
Manchester showing a little bit of zone, maybe a matchup zone, but it's a full court press that leads into a zone.
Johnson with a tough shot. Delpesh grabs the board. Ashton Langford. Ashton Langford finds Irvin to Delpesh. Delpesh's 3 doesn't go. And kick ball. Flyers ball, but I think that's the first Delpesh 3 miss in the last however many attempts we've seen since last week, in a week.
Absolutely. And I think Bristol is fine with taking the gamble on Delpesh 3s. That time, Coach Mandole, not the happiest with that 3. Maybe you could have got a better shot in the possession, but regardless, he's hot. What are you going to say?
Johnson with 4 seconds, loses the ball but keeps it alive. Lewis inside, hook shot, no good. Delpesh pulls it down. And Ashton Langford racing down the court, pulls up and gets the roll. Manchester back up by 1.
As we said, this is Manchester basketball. They get a stop, you don't change anything. You get a stop, you run. And that is where it starts. On the defensive end, you cannot run if you don't have the ball.
Lewis step back, 2's good. Bristol back up top.
We got a back and forth game, and now this, as we said before, this pace favors Manchester.
Delpesh off the glass, and what a pass there from Ashton Langford.
Great pass. He's throwing behind the back passes, behind the head passes, behind the leg passes. He's got it all in his arsenal.
Up to 8 assists personal so far. Manchester a 1-point lead. Johnson works against Delpeche. Johnson, long two, spins out.
Mackay looking to push the pace.
And a foul called off the ball.
Yeah, it looked like Johnson kind of just pulled Delpeche on that as Delpeche was trying to set up there.
So it'll be the second foul on Johnson, third team foul on the Flyers. Nathan Kayo takes the seat for Ian DeBose for Manchester, and Dimond Robinson and Ibuka Ekwe back in for the Bristol Flyers. And Dwayne, Bristol with a 2-1 lead this series. They won both games in Bristol by an average of 10.5 points. Manchester, when they won here against the Flyers, it was an 11-point win, so very fine margins with these two teams.
Absolutely. Very fine margins, and the home court has always won. Let's see if Manchester has the same fortune. As we see Mackay, Ashton Langford, he's up to 13 points now, 7 assists. He's on double-double watch. He stays aggressive, and that's exactly what Coach Mandole wants to see.
Ashton Langford, just really the type of player that seems like he can just step it up when he needs to, when his team needs him to. As Robinson gets the ball inside, hands off to the rim, Walsh.
That was a great pass by Robinson on there. He was off balance. He was on his tippy toes like a ballerina, but he still, oh my.
Delpeche blows the dunk. And Walsh at the other end for the Flyers draws the quick foul from Irvin.
That dunk would have brought the house down if he had connected on that. Wow. Wow, he got up on that one. Unfortunate that he wasn't able to put it down. Sometimes as a coach, you'd rather get the 2 points. Just take a simple layup.
Yeah.
You'd rather the 2 points, but if you're jumping like that for a potential highlight play, that's not bad.
As Robinson hits a three, and the Flyers go back on top.
We mentioned it before. Robinson shoots 39.7% from the three-point line.
Ashton Langford can't answer.
And you're not mad at that shot. It's an early three, but he's in the flow of the game, and that's a shot that's in the flow of the offense.
And that's certainly Ashton Langford's range, as we mentioned earlier in the game.
Absolutely.
Robinson against Mitchell. Robinson spinning baseline, kicks it out. Louis has 4 seconds trying to get past Ashton Langford. That is a tough move to the basket. And Elaine Louis turning it on here in the third quarter.
Super tough move, and he uses that body so well when he gets in the paint. That time, he shields off the defender for an easy finish.
Irvin, corner three, will go! And Zach Irvin, we've seen him in that space. He's got it to drop. And the threes for Manchester, when they fall, that gives them such confidence.
Yes, it does. And we talked about Zach Irvin. He doesn't have the greatest three-point shooting percentage as we see him get this three in the corner, but he has great touch, and that's underrated. So if he has a good look at a shot and there's nobody in front of him and he got time to wind it up like he likes to do, it will go down.
And Zach Irvin, third in the league in field goal percentage, shooting 60.5% overall.
And that needs to be highlighted because he's a guard. He's a 2-3. So if you have a 2-3 that shoots 60% from the field, that's usually the 7-footer that only dunks.
Yes.
Shoots 60%. But he's a guard. He's shooting threes. He's getting tough layups. That needs to be highlighted.
He's been so efficient when he's been on the court for Manchester. As we'll see Elijah Ifeje in for Manchester alongside Cody John.
And Elijah Ifeje is a guy that can definitely make his mark on this game.
Robinson looks to go back-to-back threes for Robinson.
Don't forget, Robinson shoots 40% from three.
Mitchell, his three short. As we're getting into a three-point shootout here in the third.
Yes, we are. I think teams are starting to see we need to beat Manchester at their own game. So I think you're going to see a lot of teams do this in the playoffs. Try to shoot your own threes.
And Robinson on an 8-point run himself.
Robinson is such a good player. He's a complete big man. He's got it all in his package.
DeBose, Manchester looking to answer here in the last minute of the third. John with a long three. It's short. McCormack with the rebound. Corey Samuel.
You're not mad at that shot from Cody John. He had a big first half, and he can sway a game.
Great defense there from Zach Irvin, forcing the turnover. Manchester will get the ball back.
That time, Corey Samuel was just off balance a little bit, and as he was off balance, Zach Irvin push the pressure on them.
And
Perfect headsy move.
And Irving, with the mismatch, they're able to take advantage.
Exactly.
It's a 6-point Flyers lead to Bose. The Bose looking to find a way to the basket. He's fouled on the drive. That's going to put him at the foul line. And 6 points again, matching Bristol's largest lead of the game. So a couple of big free throws here for Manchester.
You want to see Ian DeBose go 2 for 2 on this free throw line.
DeBose, a player that started the season with Caledonia, with the Gladiators, made the move over to Manchester, and he's been so important for the team, hasn't he? He had that season high against the Gladiators, 27 points earlier in March, but he's just really been huge for Manchester.
Yeah, yes. He really is a team guy. He has that big personality, and he's always encouraging his teammates. And, you know, he's easy to love from a coach's perspective because he dives on loose balls.
Yeah.
And he goes for 50-50 balls as he just goes 2 for 2 from the free throw line.
So Manchester picking up full court. McCormack. And draws a foul from Ifeje. That'll be Ifeje's first. Third team foul for Manchester, so it's sideline ball for Bristol, but that allows Bristol time to reset. 22 seconds left in the quarter.
On this possession, you have to be careful for McCormack. As we mentioned, he had that big first half. He's got a slight size advantage on Nathan Kayo. Bristol might want to attack that matchup.
Manchester on defense.
Walsh into Samuels.
20 seconds remain.
Bristol can hold for the last shot. 15 seconds. Samuels against John. 10 seconds. Samuels finds McCormack. McCormack, 3. Bounces out. Walsh with the rebound and puts it back in. And time will wind down. But as you said there, Dwayne, they looked for McCormack. The shot didn't go, but it was Evan Walsh cutting to the basket as he has been. Right place, right time, puts it back in.
Yeah, that's a backbreaker for Manchester. That's absolute backbreaker because the defense wasn't bad. You know, it's a decent defensive possession. You just have to grab the defensive rebound. Second chance opportunities has been killing them all game today, and that time was no different from Evan Walsh.
And we can see there the battle of the boards. 28 rebounds for the Flyers to Manchester's 16. A big disparity there.
Yeah, huge, huge. And we spoke about Manchester having some of their best rebounders in foul trouble, and they've been going to a smaller lineup today. So it's difficult, but it's not impossible. You have to hit the glass, you have to box your man out, and that might be the key to winning this game.
And again, that 3-point percentage for both teams. 33% for Manchester to 41 for the Flyers. The Flyers hitting 10 from behind the arc. Manchester with 8. And both teams shooting over 53% from the field. I mean, these are high numbers.
Yeah, that is incredible. I mentioned it earlier. Teams might try to use teams might try to use Manchester's strategy against them. Other teams are starting to shoot as much threes. Other teams are starting to push the pace, and they're shooting higher percentages from the field.
And this is a Manchester team that averaged 85.4 points per game. Bristol coming into this averaging 77.6. They're 2 points off that at the end of the third.
Right, so this is not their usual game. This is not their typical Bristol Flyers game. They're just getting into the running match with Manchester, and they're doing it at the same level. I didn't think that they would be able to keep it up for the whole game, and we'll see if they can keep it up in the fourth quarter because that's not what they're used to. But yeah, it's been effective for them.
And especially Bristol playing their 4th game in 8 days, and they'll also play tomorrow against the Newcastle Eagles. So it's been a tough stretch for them.
It really has, and you know, we'll see how they respond in closing this game out and how they respond to a game tomorrow. But Manchester is built for this kind of game, and that's the thing. When you're used to playing like this, they practice like this. This is nothing for them. So we'll see if Bristol can keep it up in the fourth quarter.
So teams back on court for the fourth. 10 more minutes to play. It's a 6-point Flyers lead. And we look down the scoreboard though, and everybody for Manchester who's got out on court has scored. They've made an impact out on the court. A real all-round team effort.
Absolutely. Complete team effort, and it's been great basketball up to this point. The fans are the ones that are winning because this has been a great basketball game. Good hands there.
Robinson out to Walsh. Robinson in the corner, finds Walsh again. Time winding down, 5 seconds. Walsh, scoop layup. Oh, it's a tough shot off the glass. Using it long reach to just put it in.
Evan Walsh, he's used to this gym. As you mentioned before, he played here last year, and he's a 3x3 player. So he's a crafty guy. Oh.
Delpeche left alone, slams it home.
That time, Damon Robinson just took his eye off the ball for 1 second, and if you do that with these great Manchester guards, they will make you pay.
Samuels against John. Finds McCormack. 4 seconds, Robinson inside. Robinson hangs in the air, takes him up to 21 points personal.
So Bristol likes that matchup. Bristol likes any matchup with Robinson. But if Nathan Kyle is going to be guarding him, he's doing a great job of being feisty on defense. But that's a great matchup for Bristol. So if you can avoid that for Manchester, you want to.
So Keely Johnson checks back in for the Flyers. It'll be Corey Samuels with the ball for Bristol. It's an 8-point Flyers lead, their biggest lead of the game so far. As Samuels takes it to the basket, and a foul called. So that's going to be on Cody John, his first for Manchester. We'll see Mackay Ashton-Langford sub back in. John will take a seat.
When Mackay Ashton-Langford is back on the court, Manchester gets back to playing how they want to play. But this time, it's Corey Samuel who was able to, as he misses his first free throw, who was able to get to the line and make things happen.
And Samuels plays in his 4th season for the Flyers, a player that came up through the Flyers juniors and the academy. Gets his 2nd to go. He was a real spark off the bench in the trophy final back in January. Hit 9 points on 3 threes, gave their fans something to cheer about in that one.
And he's a homegrown talent, so I'm sure their fans are loving them.
And right on cue, Ashton-Langford takes it to the basket, off the bench, cuts into the lead.
So he's got his work cut out for him. Now they're down 7 with 8 minutes left. Mackay Ashton-Langford, we know the impact he has on the game, and he'll need it in this 4th quarter.
Evan Walsh just making tough shot after tough shot.
As I said before, he's a 3x3 player. 3x3, you have to make fast decisions, and you have to be crafty in order to score.
Kayo's 3 hits the back iron. Johnson running down the court, has McCormack up ahead, but an offensive foul called. Ashton-Langford putting his body on the line for Manchester as he takes a tough fall to the ground. Looks like he's caught his face.
Yeah, I think Johnson got him on the step through with an elbow to the nose. Hopefully he didn't break a nose because it did look kind of brutal, and maybe we'll see it on the replay.
But that's pure impact that Ashton-Langford has. He's come on, he's just scored, he's just got to stop at the other end.
Yes, exactly, and that's not the player that you want to see go down at this moment.
That's all. Ashton-Langford, 15 points, 8 assists, a rebound and a steal for Manchester, as we'll just have a stoppage on the floor while Ashton-Langford is seen to. But the foul there is called on Johnson, so Keely Johnson has 3 fouls. And that will just be the first team foul for the Flyers this quarter. So Bristol up 9 here in the 4th, Dwayne, edging away a little bit. What do Manchester need to do to try and cut into this?
Yeah, Manchester and Mackay is still down. Manchester really just needs to stick to their guns, right? Get back to getting stops. Get back to defensive rebounding, all right? Hit the glass, make a stop, and run. Obviously, if Mackay is good enough to play going forward, as we see in him getting up a little bit slowly, if Mackay is still in the game, they can use him to really lead the attack, because as he goes, they go.
Yeah. He's just the epitome of a true point guard, isn't he? A real leader out on the floor.
In every sense of the word. In every sense of the word.
So he will, Mackay Ashton-Langford will have to take a seat, and back into the game will be DJ Mitchell.
So that's a big loss for Manchester, as he is the engine that makes them go. But hopefully everybody else can pick up the slack for the minutes that he's not on the court.
Kayo to the basket, gets it to drop.
Yeah, that's a good job by Kyle of getting low on your drives. A lot of players like to drive standing straight up. You can't be explosive unless you're low. At that time, he gets lower than the Walsh, who's a shorter defender, and drives all the way for 2.
It just makes it harder for your defender to pick you up. As Walsh into Robinson.
There's a mismatch down low.
Out to Walsh, his 3 doesn't go. Delpeche with the rebound. Manchester a chance to cut into this 7-point lead. Mitchell. DeBose.
This is too slow. Manchester doesn't want this. This is too slow. They got to get it up the court a little bit quicker and get into their offense because that's how their offense is set up.
DeBose hanging in the air, won't fall, chases down his own rebound, finds Mitchell in the corner.
That's a good shot. That's a good shot. Continue to hit the offensive glass. Manchester needs second chance opportunities if they don't make their first attempt.
Walsh against Delpeche. Walsh, and ball's knocked out, stays with the Flyers. Good defense there from Marcus Delpeche. And we'll see Kendall Lewis sub in for DeMond Robinson.
It's a 7-point game with 6 minutes and 30 seconds left. All eyes are on Makai Ashton Langford to see if he can come back in the game. If he cannot, Manchester needs to string together some stops. String together some stops so they can continue to run right on cue. Here we go.
So DeBose running the floor. Irvin, Delpeche up ahead. Runs into Walsh. Evan Walsh did a fantastic job to get back and just put his body in the way.
Yes, he was a brick wall there. I didn't know he was that solid. He's a strong player.
Walsh, McCormack inside. Double team, passes back out to Lewis. What a pass.
Oh, that is just 2 crafty players just showing off. Walsh with the impressive pass to put the ball inside in the first place, and McCormack with a little shovel pass backwards, no look.
Channeling his inner Magic Johnson. So a timeout called. It's a 9-point Flyers lead, 84 to 75 for the Flyers over Manchester. DeMond Robinson leading all scorers with those huge 21 points. Has a couple of rebounds as well, and for Manchester leading the way, Makai Ashton Langford with 15 points and 8 assists, but as we said, he's on the bench just getting checked over after taking that hit. So who is going to step up in his place while he's not able to be on the floor?
Exactly, and the problem is that Manchester's second and third best players, and they don't really have one super best player on any given night. Anybody could be a best player, but Makai Ashton Langford, he impacts the game so much because he's a primary ball handler, and he's so fast. So when you have the secondary guys bringing up the ball, it doesn't get up as fast, and then they're the shooters. So they want to catch the ball in transition. They don't want to be the ones initiating the possession. So that's where losing Makai really hurts the team because DJ Mitchell is the scorer, but he has to bring the ball up, or Nathan Kayo has to bring the ball up.
And it's that quickness, isn't it? The quickness of Ashton Langford going against Keedy Johnson as well. Just 2 fast players.
Yes. And it's beautiful to watch. Those guys are both 2 big-time players who love to make big-time plays. And this is the big-time moment.
So back out on court, DeBose will pull up for 3 and he'll hit! Ian DeBose with a big bucket for Manchester.
Ian DeBose says, I got it. Next man up, it's me. Good hit by Ian DeBose, getting both feet behind the 3-point line and knocking down the big, well-needed 3 for Manchester.
Louis passes back out to McCormack. Had space, but a travel call, just 1 step too many. Manchester will get the ball back down 6. A chance to cut this to a single possession game. DeBose. Inside to Delpeche, back out to DeBose. Kayo has space, driving to the basket.
Nathan Kayo being aggressive. He's had a great start to this 4th quarter. Get your head down and get to the basket. Nathan Kayo, they cannot guard you when you play like this.
Leads down to 4. Johnson against Mitchell. Johnson has the... Oh, is that a foul call? It looked like he was about to knock the ball away, but foul called on Manchester on the floor. That's DeBose's 3rd foul.
That's a tough foul. It's one of those where the player is not going to agree with that call, but you just can't put the ref in that position to even make the call.
Absolutely. As Kendall Lewis swings it round to Johnson. Johnson driving to the basket.
That's his game. You want to keep Johnson out of the paint as much as you can. He can hit the three, but he'd prefer to get to the basket.
Kayo to Delpesh. Delpesh hands off to Mitchell. Long pass over to Kayo, working against Lewis. Kayo with 3 seconds. Shot spins out. Flyers up 6 here, under 4.5 minutes to play. And a big three from Thomas Edwards in the corner.
Huge three. We mentioned before, he can make the three. He's at 34.6%. He's got a big defensive reputation, but he can shoot it. He can shoot it. And Bristol Flyers, they continue to let it fly from three. This is not a game that we're used to seeing from them. We're used to seeing Manchester come with this kind of game plan, but they're consistently keeping up at this pace, and it's been impressive to watch.
It definitely has. 11 made threes for the Flyers to Manchester's 9. And the battle of the boards, Manchester with 19 rebounds to 31 for the Flyers. That's been a real difference maker, hasn't it?
It really has. And Manchester's been going with these smaller lineups because a part of that is also due to McCormack, because you don't know what kind of player you want to put on him. If you put a bigger player on him, then it's going to be tough for the bigger player to keep up. Or you're going to put a guard on him where he can get himself established down low. So with McCormack, he kind of changes the way that you can coach. And Manchester chose to go with a smaller lineup, and they're going to have to pay for it on the boards.
You can see there, Mackay, Ashton Langford leading the scorers for Manchester Basketball with 15, DJ Mitchell adding in 11. And for the Bristol Flyers, Demond Robinson with those 21 points, and Keely Johnson with 15. So 4:18 to play, and the Flyers really swung things in that third quarter, didn't they?
They really did. They really did. Robinson had that huge third quarter, and so did Louis. Mackay Ashton Langford is back in the game now, so maybe we'll see a huge finish with sparks.
And Manchester fans going to be very happy to see Ashton Langford back out on court as he passes out to Mitchell, who works against McCormack. And foul called on the floor against the Flyers. That's only their second foul of the quarter. So Manchester will reset from the end line. Fresh 14 on the shot clock. DeBose to Ashton Langford. Ashton Langford runs into Lewis. Passes over to Mitchell, who'll lay it in.
The two-man game of Ashton Langford and Mitchell, we said it. Ashton Langford gives Mitchell really great open looks. You just have to move off of him. He will deliver the ball on time where it needs to be. That time, Mitchell is the beneficiary.
Thomas Edwards spinning inside. DeBose is there. Louis against Ashton Langford. Step back, three. No good. Offensive rebound for the Flyers. They're just all over the boards as McCormack has space, didn't get it to go. Manchester's getting a bit lucky on that possession as Kayo grabs the ball. It'll be a jump ball called, and we'll go with Manchester.
Definitely lucky. They got it. There was a great defensive stop the first shot, but then the second chance really threw things off because McCormack had a wide open three in the corner. They got lucky that he didn't make it. And what can you say? Manchester, a stop is a stop. Right, you take it for what it is. You got your stop. Come down and get a bucket here and put the game within 5 or 4.
Ashton Langford stops, turns, bounces out, gets his own rebound, tries to put it back in. He does. Ashton Langford with a circus shot, and that is the impact he has on the game.
It is. That is so impressive. Mackay Ashton Langford. I don't know how he kept his balance without falling and having that soft touch for this finish.
Johnson, and he'll get the foul on the shot, so basket's good, and Keedy Johnson just has an answer for everything that Manchester are throwing at the Flyers.
Yes, he does, and we said it before, he's top 5 in the league for free throws made, so we know he gets to the free throw line. You just got to try to contest without fouling, as we see that circuit shot by Alfred. Wow, falling back on the back foot, but then Keedy Johnson comes back with the M1, and he converts on his free throw.
So leads back up to 8 for the Flyers. Ashton Langford racing down the court, off the glass, and he takes the contact. He's going to go to the foul line for a chance at a three-point play, and just answering exactly as Keedy Johnson has. These two guards, this is such fun basketball to watch.
So fun to watch. This is Manchester basketball. Makai Ashton Langford has been doing this since Coach Mandoli has came into Manchester, and he will continue to do it into the playoffs.
Okay, Ashton Langford tied in first for steals per game with 1.8 and third in assists per game with 5.5. Misses the free throw, so still an 8-point lead for the Flyers. Sorry, 6-point lead.
Here. It's a big defensive stand here. Manchester needs to not only get the stop, but rebound and finish the possession.
Johnson's shot doesn't go, tipped by McCormack. Manchester ball.
Let's see if they can get one of their elite scorers in Kyle or Mitchell going this possession.
Because we've seen that lane open up for Ashton Langford as well to get to the basket. So if Bristol can try and clog that lane, leaves the space open, but obviously Ashton Langford, he's so quick. We can see him there dancing around the outside. Mitchell into DeBose, inside, slams it down, and Ian DeBose with a big jab. That's becoming a signature for Ian DeBose so far.
Absolutely, one big jab per game. He's a highlight machine, but that time also a great pass by DJ Mitchell finding the open cutter.
4-point game, just over a minute and a half to play. Louis against Kayo. Louis, ball is loose, knocked out of bounds. Last touch Flyers, Manchester will get it back.
That's the stop that you needed. Manchester needs to string together some stops because they will run in transition. Every time they have a chance in transition, they are scoring. So they need to tape up this pace, keep getting these stops, and keep playing Manchester basketball.
Ball's in the hands of Ashton Langford. 19 points. Ashton Langford spins against Walsh. Lewis knocks the ball out of the air, and that's Kendall Lewis's third block of the game.
He's everywhere. Great timing as a big, but also he's got that big-time athleticism.
DeBose backs the ball out. Manchester looking to get something on the board here. Nice pass to Irvin.
Great pass. He just pushed, Zach Irvin just put a little bit too much on the finish. However, that's the shot that you want.
And Bristol can use the clock here. They've got time on their side. It's a 4-point lead, 1:03 to play in the fourth. Ball's loose. DeBose looking for it. Walsh passes it to the corner. Will go out of bounds. And Manchester will get it back. 55.9 seconds to go.
There's no surprise that DuBose and Zach Irvin were the first two to dive on that loose ball, leading to the turnover. Manchester needs a big bucket here to make this game interesting.
Ashton Langford. Mitchell fakes the shot, pulls up for three, spins out. Lewis secures it for the Flyers. And that was a great look for Mitchell.
It was a great look, and it hit every part of the rim, but it just didn't go in. Oh, that hurts. But great look. Mitchell, I'm sure he will keep his confidence going into the finish of this game. One missed shot is not going to change his confidence.
So that foul's on Ashton Langford, his second. Manchester will pick up full court here. It's a Flyers 4-point lead, 41.8 seconds to go. McCormack will inbound. Lewis. Bristol needs to get it over the halfway line. McCormack intercepted by Mitchell. Mitchell has Irvin. Irvin, he'll put it in off the glass and brings Manchester back within 32.6 left, and Mitchell read that pass perfectly.
He did. That's the effect of Manchester pressure. they're pressuring all these guards and all the bigs, and they're making it tough for guys to make easy passes.
So Bristol ball again from the end line. Picking up full court and a foul called, so Manchester on their 5th team foul. That sends the Flyers to the line, so that stops the clock, gives Bristol a chance for 2 at the line here, but...
Yeah, you don't want to see that foul, especially in the backcourt. Coach Mandole obviously was not the happiest about that foul. But the good news is that you stop the clock.
Yeah, you stop the clock, and Elaine Louis shooting 44.4% from the line this season. Gets his first to go. Increases the lead to 3. If he can put this to a 2-possession game, gives the Flyers a little bit of breathing room for a second or so as it bounces out. Irving has the ball, so Manchester with possession. Ashton Langford hands off to Irving. Irving to the basket, gets it to drop, and it's back to a 1-point game. 20 seconds, and DeBose will foul Walsh immediately. Takes 0.8 seconds off the clock. Walsh will go to the foul line for 2, and you can see Manchester's tactic there. Even if Bristol are going to score, they cut into it, gives them a chance to tie.
Absolutely, absolutely. And let's give Zach Irvin some credit. That was a big, necessary bucket, as we see the replay here. Soft touch, we talked about it. He has that elite touch around the rim, and it extends.
So Walsh at the line for 2, shooting 74.7 from the stripe this season. His first is good. It's a 2-point Flyers lead. Walsh up to 14 points personal. And 2 of 2 from the line. It's a 3-point Flyers lead. Manchester with a 3 will tie the game. DeBose, and ball's knocked out of bounds. Bristol forced a turnover and will get the ball back with 13.4 on the clock.
That's a backbreaker.
And a timeout called, so it will be Flyers ball when we're back on the floor. 13.4 seconds is a long time in basketball, but if you're Manchester, you need to stop relatively quickly to get up the floor and then try for 3.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And it's a 3-point game, so you'll have to foul because they can run out the clock, because Bristol's not going to be looking to shoot. However, when they, it depends on who you put on the line. If you can control it, right? If you can make Lewis catch the ball, or as you mentioned, you know, Corey Samuel or Louis, they struggle from the free throw line. If you can get them to touch the basketball on the inbound and foul them immediately, don't take any time off the clock. 13.4 seconds, as you said, is a lot of time. So you get your stop, you get your foul, you come down, hopefully they go one for 2. You come down, the most important thing is you need a good, quick basket on the other end, and then we're playing the free throw game.
And if you're Bristol here, as you said, they can run the clock. They've got time on their side. You want to try and play a bit of hot potato with the ball when you get it?
Yes. So you play hot potato, but you play keep away, and you put the ball in the hands of your fastest player. To me, Keedy Johnson should be having the ball in this position. You put the ball in Keedy Johnson's hand, and you have him just run around and don't let them catch you.
It's like the drills that you're taught in practice, isn't it? So a 3-point game. It's a Flyers lead. 13.4 on the clock left in the quarter. Have Manchester got one more stop in them? Louis to inbound. Finds McCormack. He's fouled straight away. And clock ran a bit, but it looks like they'll put some time back on the clock. So McCormack at the line. He's probably not the guy that you do want to foul, shooting 92.6% from the foul line this season.
No, he's not the guy you want to foul, and that's why Bristol wanted him to have the ball.
So first is good for McCormack. Takes him up to 14 points personal. 13, apologies, with that free throw. And Now he's at 14. 2 of 2 from the line. Manchester need a very quick score here. Ashton Langford has it. Mitchell pulls up for 3. Too strong. Rebound back out to Mitchell. Mitchell's 3 bounces off, and it's going to be too late for Ashton Langford. And the Bristol Flyers edge it 97-92 over Manchester Basketball. A big win for them. Playing their 4th game in 8 days. Owen McCormack came up big for the Flyers, 14 points, but Damon Robinson, a huge 21 points. And Keedy Johnson adding in 18. This is a big win for the Flyers heading into the final week of the season.
It is a big win. We talked about it. They've been having so many games. They have a game tomorrow. Playing at this pace with the schedule that they had is super impressive, and we have to give it up to them. They came into Manchester. They put on a masterclass performance. They earned a tough victory, and they get to go home and celebrate for one day because they play again tomorrow.
They do. It doesn't stop. Basketball never stops. So MVP time, Dwayne. Who is the player that's caught your eye today?
So definitely Damon Robinson. I always want to give a good shout out to a good big man, and Damon Robinson is a good big man. He got it done from all over the court today. He was down low, he had positioning, his guards found him, but also he stretched the floor with a 3-point shot, and he added to what the 3-point attack was for Bristol.
And that big run he had in the 3rd quarter, 8 points on a run for him. So Dwayne will head courtside to catch a word with the Damon Robinson. We can see him there, icing his shoulder. He's put a shift in. He'll be ready to go tomorrow. And for Manchester Basketball, coming up just short today, it was that 3rd quarter swing, 29-21 for the Flyers in the 3rd quarter. Mackay Ashton Langford, 19 points personal, along with 10 assists. A double-double for him. DJ Mitchell adding in 13 points and 4 assists. And Ian DeBose off the bench, 12 points, 5 rebounds and 8 assists. We can see there the 3-pointers were dropping all afternoon for the Bristol Flyers. 11 made threes to Manchester's 9. Both teams shooting well from the field. 52% for Manchester, 57% for the Flyers. And the battle on the boards, Bristol had it 36-26. The real difference maker there. 11 offensive rebounds for the Flyers, turning those into 9 second chance points. 48 points in the paint for the Flyers, 54 for Manchester. And the Flyers with a big win, 97-92. So we're going to go courtside with Dwayne, who has Damon Robinson and coach Andreas Kapoulis for the Flyers.
Mic check. All right, here we are with the game MVP. Mr. Robinson, you had a huge game today, 19 points. You had a huge 3rd quarter. Tell us what you saw out there that allowed you to be so successful today.
Not much, really. The guys really just told me to be comfortable and just attack. Stop trying to be dominant all the time. Just be patient, let everything come to you, and that's what I let happen.
How good does a win like this feel? The last time you played Manchester, you guys lost away. You guys were able to come in here in a tense environment and pull away with the W. So how good does it feel?
I mean, it feels good. I just know one thing, that we wasn't really worried about the last time we lost, but I knew we had to come in here and do something different, which was play defense, limit their transition. I mean, Manchester, they're a good team, and we had to showcase us being a good team as well.
Thank you, Damon. Hopefully you get better with your shoulder. We're just going to bring your coach in for his interview, the game today. Coach, today we talked at pregame, and you said you got to take everything one game at a time. How does it feel to come into a game like today with this crowd? What does this mean for your team?
It's good to get the win. I mean, we're excited to get the win. We played some good basketball. We had 6 guys on double digits. I think it's great to see us sharing the basketball. And we knew they're a tough team. They're very talented. We knew they're going to get some runs, and it was about limiting the runs. I told you before the game about defense, rebounding. We felt like last time in the first half, we did not respond. This time around, we're there. And even when they built that 8-point lead, we were able to chip away at it and go halftime down 2. You know, I think that next play mentality is important.
Yeah, you guys had a lot of, like you said, a lot of players in double figures. You guys shot a super high percentage from the field, super high percentage from the three-point line. What was the message to your team coming into the game that motivated your guys to play this way?
I think it's about the things that we've been saying every game, like the connectivity, the togetherness. I think you can see it out there in terms of how we play offensively and how we have each other's back on defense. It's not going to be perfect. It's an imperfect game, but we just want to play possession by possession, have that next play mentality.
Thank you, Coach, and congratulations.
Thank you. Cheers, guys. Congrats. Thank you.
Demond Robinson there, a huge 21 points personal, shooting 75% from the field, adding in 2 rebounds and an assist. He was key for the Bristol Flyers today, and that win today is going to help them push in their playoff seeding, pushing themselves up the table as we look towards the last week of the season. Bristol with 3 more games to go. They'll be playing Newcastle tomorrow at 4:30, and then Cheshire and Surrey later in the week. But that win puts the Bristol Flyers on 24 points in the standings. So an important win for them as we head towards the end of the season. The Leicester Riders, having beaten the Cheshire Phoenix just around an hour ago, and then Caledonia and Sheffield about to tip off in 15 minutes time. You can catch that live on DAZN. And then in the final week of the regular season, Bristol playing tomorrow against the Eagles. Action coming up on Wednesday and Friday night, and then all weekend long with the final game of the weekend, the Cheshire Phoenix and Newcastle Eagles next Sunday, rounding out a whole slate of games. And keep an eye on that Sheffield Sharks and London Lions game. Could be an important game in the title decider. So the final score from here in Manchester, the Bristol Flyers 97, Manchester Basketball 92. From myself, Caroline Bullock, and from Dwayne Morgan, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Rises, where champions emerge and redefine the game, where limits are tested and greatness is unleashed. This is when legends are born. Super League Basketball, a new dawn is here.